Hey everybody, Cody Seals here with Joint Efforts Media. Today we're joined by Rachel with the Kentucky Cannabis Industry Alliance, KCIA. She's the executive director, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what it's looking like in Kentucky, the medical program, and where we're at currently.
Awesome, thanks. I'm so glad you guys are here. So today we're at Lucky Leaf, which is the Expo here in Louisville. It's really exciting. It's the first year for it, and obviously it's the first year for medical cannabis in Kentucky. So we're super excited to get to interact with a lot of the public here and help bring them up to date on the program. So already in Kentucky, we're still a few months away from patients being able to get product, but we have over 15,000 certified patients already, and we expect those numbers to skyrocket as soon as we get a little bit closer to product. We have started to have our first groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings for cultivation sites and for testing facilities. So everybody knows, the first thing you got to do is build your cultivation site, start to grow the product before the dispensaries can start to open. So those dominoes are starting to fall right now, and we expect that patients will start to have product probably around Halloween this year.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's actually really quick, because it's like, you look at somewhat neighboring states, like unfortunately Alabama, they're having a lot of issues getting off the ground. And so what do you think has been kind of some of Kentucky's success, and why y'all seem to be launching and doing such a good job on actually getting this medicine to the people?
So a lot of that has to do with our executive branch, right? So the governor is really laser focused on getting this medicine to patients as fast as possible. So the state did a straight lottery system so we could avoid some of the litigious things that slow down other states as far as the licensing process goes. So far that has worked out really well. There are a lot of players involved here who are really good at doing this, and they've maybe have built out in different states or have different experience within the industry, so they know what it takes to build out, and they're kind of trying to speed up their build outs and so on to get this done as fast as possible. So I think that's all helping, and frankly we're the 38th state to do this, so there are a lot of other states that we can look at for best practices. That's the curse and the blessing of being so late to this, right? The patients have been waiting far too long, but the good news is now we have all those other states to look at to make sure we do this right.
Right, and do you feel as though, Kentucky has been a powerhouse in CBD and hemp production for years at this point. Do you feel like some of that kind of helped prepare y'all for the types of things you needed to be doing as far as testing and procure various things like that?
Yeah, I always say to people about the history of cannabis in Kentucky that we are really good at cannabis. We've been great at it forever, and everyone should make no mistake. For years and years and years, for a long, long time, cannabis has been cultivated in Kentucky, it's been sold in Kentucky, it's been consumed in Kentucky. We just haven't taxed it for the public benefit or regulated it for the public safety, right? So we have people here who know how to do this really well. Kentucky is poised to be uniquely fantastic at this, and it's time. It is so time for patients to have what they need here, and we're just thrilled. We're thrilled to be here. My job is to support the industry and to make sure the industry has what it needs to thrive and survive here so that patients have consistent great product.
Yeah, and what aspects of the industry should be looking at the Kentucky Cannabis Industry Alliance?
Yeah, so anybody who's a license holder, so the cultivators, dispensaries, the processors, the medical providers. I think a lot of alliances don't necessarily involve the medical providers, but we want to make sure that everything that is serving the patient is included, and the medical providers are a huge part, right? They're the ones who are actually talking to the patients every day, seeing what the pain points are as far as getting their cards and all of those things, and then figuring out what products the patients really need in the state. So yeah, that's who we're working with.
And with products in the state of Kentucky, when those 15,000, possibly even more, likely more by October, what kind of products will they expect to see in the marketplace?
So most every product that you would expect to see at a dispensary, although there is one thing for Kentucky that's different. We are a non-combustion state. You can buy flower in dispensaries, but it's non-combustion. So
what does that mean?
That's a great question. I assume patients know what to do with flower if they're not going to be combusting it.
So they're buying hemp or cannabis tea, maybe, I guess? Is that the idea? They could steep it?
Yeah, they could make butters with it. They could do whatever they want that way. But they can purchase flower, but it is a non-combustion state. They can do vape, they can do edibles, all of those other things, tinctures, salves, all the other things you would expect to see.
More like a polite recommendation?
No, it is written in the statute.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. That is very interesting.
I believe there are 4 states that have done it.
Oh, there are 4 states that have done it?
Wow. Okay. So wow. Interesting.
I haven't heard that one.
I haven't either. Do you know if people will have access to things like concentrates?
Yes, I believe people should have, obviously we're going to have vape products and those kinds of things. So I think all the other things you would expect to see at a dispensary, that's just the one place that I think will be different than some patients will have some adjustment there.
Which, to be honest, at the end of the day, most doctors probably would recommend, if you're coming for a medical-based reason, you probably shouldn't be combusting things to pull into your body. So yeah, what kind of what are some of the ailments, conditions that people will be getting these cards for?
So there's only 6 permissible diagnoses in the state of Kentucky. They are MS, epilepsy, cancer, chronic nausea, PTSD, and chronic pain. So we are very restricted in that way. It's my expectation that you'll see very quickly the industry asking for an expansion of permissible diagnoses. Right now, as we stand here today, we're living under the governor's preemptive pardon executive order. So a few years ago, Governor Beshear said, preemptively pardoned anybody who is a licensed medical patient in another state who legally procures in another state can possess that product here. Under that preemptive pardon, there's like 17 diagnoses. So there are patients who legally have medical cannabis in the state today who will illegally, it would be illegal for them to have it once we start to see the dispensaries open. So we don't accept things like ALS or Crohn's disease or anxiety. So I expect that you're going to see the patient population and advocacy population really come out for those things pretty quickly.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And then once you start that, then you can figure out, how do you tweak the system. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for the time.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like the world to kind of know before we let you go?
Just that, for patients right now, even though we're still a few months away from product, it's a great time to start to make that relationship with your medical provider, to start working on your card. And even if there are a couple months where you've paid for the card and there isn't product available to you, you don't want to wait till the last minute and have the appointments be full and have it take a couple months for you to get your card.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
We're here today at the Lucky Leaf Expo. We are hosting a patient drive here to try and help people get more affordable card access. And so we'll be doing those around the state, just trying to help patients where they are.
Awesome. And will you be here tomorrow, Saturday?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, guys, hey, if you're here on Saturday, Louisville, Kentucky, come out to Lucky Leaf, come talk to Rachel, figure out some information, and thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.